Welcome to Olsem Wanem. I'm Florence John Duo. This year, 2015, is the deadline for the implementation of the United Nations Millennium Development Goals, or MDGs. Among these MDGs is the eradication of extreme poverty and hunger. A few communities in remote areas in Papua New Guinea are working on projects to help themselves generate income. The Sibalai community in Milne Bay province is one such community, with members of the community taking the initiative to develop projects for the benefit of the wider community. The United Nations Millennium Declaration, to which PNG is a signatory, led to the formation of 8 Millennium Development Goals, or MDGs, to meet the challenges of the new millennium. The 8 goals are: 1. Eradicate extreme poverty and hunger. 2. Achieve universal primary education. 3. Promote gender equality and empowerment of women. 4. Reduce child mortality. 5. Improve maternal health. 6. Combat HIV/AIDS, malaria and other diseases. 7. Ensure environmental sustainability. And 8. Develop a global partnership for development.
The main purpose or the goal behind community-led MDG acceleration project is to empower villages and communities to achieve MDG goals from the villages upwards. Since MDGs are coming to an end in 2015, what we're thinking of doing is to have a model concept that can be utilized across the nation to help achieve next sets of goals.
One such community that has moved to implement one of these MDGs is Sibalai in Milne Bay province. With assistance from the United Nations Development Programme, or UNDP, and the European Union, the community is developing projects that will provide lasting benefits.
So the project was designed by the European Union and it's funded by the European Union. And UNDP was invited by the European Union to implement the project on their behalf in support of the government. So we received the grants from the European Union, and we facilitate the work with the community-based organizations. And in doing so, help to transform lives in the villages and, improve the lives of our people in the rural areas.
Communities are encouraged to use their own initiative to come up with projects that they know will sustain their communities. The people of Sibalai have identified several things that they know will benefit them in the long run.
The idea is to look at multi-sectoral projects that address the MDGs. So the MDGs, as you're aware, they're looking at health, education, environmental issues. And so the idea was to encourage the communities to address all those issues, but again, based on what their priorities are. So for Sibalai, for instance, because they're prone to cyclones and because of the isolation, they have a lot of food security issues and things like that. Income, cash opportunities are very low. So they've decided to focus on income generation by establishing, first of all, the resource center.
We have almost to complete the resource center, which is 25 meters by 8. In it, we have a conference room, information center, a office for the health and churches, and then we also have a office for the women in business, and office for the councillor, ward councillor and his WDC, plus the office for the manager of the cooperative society, which is going to be established soon.
Such community-based projects, community participation is crucial to meet targets that have been set by donor funding agencies. Motivating community members is one thing that will help programs progress, be completed, and more importantly, be sustained for years to come.
This is a community-based project. It's unlike a paid job. All right, to bring in people, the community to work on a community-based project it's something that you got to really motivate the community and carry out very, very big and good awareness to the people to make the people understand that this is a project that is to be owned by them. In that way, they can take ownership, and you will see that the cooperation will be good.
You're watching Olsem Wanem. Clean water and proper sanitation are vital for a healthy livelihood. Let's take a look at how water and sanitation projects funded by the European Union are making a difference in Bubuleta and Sibalai communities in Milne Bay province. Access to clean water and proper sanitation are factors that contribute to a healthy society. Bubuleta and Sibalai communities, like most people in rural areas, walk many miles to get fresh, clean water for their homes. Mothers and girls are the ones who brave the weight of buckets, containers and pots filled with water.
This project was not funded by any other co-funders. It was totally funded by European Union through an NGO grouping they call Milne Bay Church Development Fund Association. Now this is an NGO group that has made this funding possible for us to receive this funding from European Union. Now one of the components in which for us to qualify to be given that funding was the community component. A community component is a component that we in Bubuleta will need to meet in order for that funding to be given to us. And because the European Union was giving us 111,000, the total scope of the project, our component as a community contribution was 10% of the total contribution, which was 10,000 kina. Now the project, the community component was supposed to be raised by ourselves. Now the requirement was basically because of this. If we put in our part of the component, we take ownership of the project. And that was basically one of the requirements why European Union had to tell us to put our community component through the same funding.
It is a great privilege for us to go through a new improvement in this community. Before the implementation of the project, we found it very difficult, especially in water and sanitation. Before 2011, after when the project was implemented here, it was very difficult, especially for us, the village people, and especially for our mothers who go far away, far distances to fetch water and carry them by buckets and saucepans and all this.
The plight of these two communities regarding access to water was resolved in 2011 thanks to the European Union's Rural Water Supply and Sanitation Program. The water projects brought water to the community's doorsteps.
Water, for that matter, is something very, very essential and important nearly everywhere, not for us here in Bubuleta alone. But universally, water is very, very important. And that is how we look at the project itself. And in this regard, when we got this funding from European Union, water gave us life. In here, previously, our mothers walked miles to go and get water. Our females, our kids, our children walk miles to go and fetch water. So when we mobilized our people to contribute for our community component, the 10,000 kina, everybody were willing, more than willing to. They gave their 110% to raise that 10,000 kina.
I normally carry my 20-liter container and walk all the way. To carry 20-liter container, it's very heavy on our shoulder to come back. So, like after doing this for a couple of years, then the European Union came in and brought this project here, and then so when they introduced it, we were really excited because that will stop us from fetching water from far. So we decided to sort of like sacrifice ourselves to make fundraising. As the European Union said that we have to pay in our 10%.
I carry buckets or dishes from the house to the other area, maybe like the water well you went to, I can go and get water from there to come to my house. But now I have my own tap right at my doorstep, and I am very proud of that, and it's really like something for us to really think of, and we are very happy, and we feel that this type of projects should be done within among the communities.
Rural communities in Papua New Guinea still face difficulties in accessing clean, safe water for consumption. In this segment, we take a look at the determination of Bubuleta and Sibalai communities in making sure the water projects funded by the European Union are a success. Having access to water is a bonus, but having access to safe, clean water for consumption is another issue.
We got a big community, a big population, but the water is also not able to cater for everybody who lives, those who live in hamlets in the bush. Because the water system itself ran along the road through the beach where the most populated places are. But hamlets in the bush, no, it doesn't save them. It's these guys out there, they get water from the rivers that flow down from the mountains.
I'm a health worker, and then I know which is clean water and which is dirty water. Okay, like the water that we get from the dam is Like these are villagers, they reckon that that's a clean water. But me being a nurse, that water has to be, purified, or it has to be given some treatment so that we can be totally safe in consuming it, rather than, like just taking it straight. And truly, this is not a safe water that we are drinking.
Another branch of the water project is proper sanitation, which complements good hygiene in any community.
It is a privilege I'd like to mention here that previously we used to just defecate in the bushes, Typical Papua New Guineans, that's what we do. In the beach, in the bush, anyway. But when the project came, they gave us water, a supply of water, and they also gave us VIP toilets. That's what they call it. So we were given good pots made out of fiberglass with even lids on them. So we have our pits dug up, and we placed those pots in those pits. We had to make the buildings in a way, such a way that we fit them in there. But they are all good-looking toilets, I want to tell you. So another thing that was also beneficial for us is that we had toilets on our own. The total population had a toilet pot each for each household. That's where we totally declared that Bubuleta village is a defecation-free community, which means in here you hardly find people defecating in the bushes on the beaches. That is what that sanitation part of the project was like.
Villagers, however, expressed their concerns that having beneficial projects being funded and implemented by donors, such as the European Union, is good, but the government has to make sure that the sustainability and maintenance of these projects are taken into consideration.
We have our own share of, rubbing each other, who uses it first and who uses it next, the type of thing. Because like I said, we have only few taps on central locations. And the more people use it, the more crowded it is. So the others coming in later, they say, hey, you guys wait, you had enough of your share. Can you give us time to go first? That sort of thing. So basically, that is our problem now. So what we are trying to do in our own community in here is to try and mobilize ourselves, how best we can be able to improve the water ourselves. So that is one of our plights that we are trying to get addressed as well. It's not only, a short supply of water because of one tap, but we're trying to and remodify it, maintain it so that we can be able to have water into every household. So one of the priorities that we are having is to try and improve the pressure that supplies it from the dam. So as soon as we build up that pressure, we are able to put in taps for every household in the community. I want to give this challenge without any favor, without any fear. We would like the government to at least help us in trying to maintain this project, or probably try to expand it. Because I believe, or I shouldn't say I believe, I know the government hasn't given us any funding. That's to be more precise.
To end this episode of Olsem Wanem, we feature short films showing how important water and sanitation are.
Kana ari mahusiku tinotora badza rekusakurisa riya tonochera gomba tongozvibatsirawo mumunda umomu nekuti kuti tibude usiku kumasango tinenge tavakuhla saka toshandisa badza kuti tizvibatsire. Zita rangu ndinonzi Cecilia Maka. Pandinonochera mvura makuseni. Kure zvokuti ndinofamba almost 3 hours. Nichifamba, nichienda kunochera mvura. Ngati zvangu anogona kungorwara ka2 kana kuti ka3 per month nedairy. Kana mwana wangu akarwara ndinomutora ndoenda naye kuclinic ondosvika orapiwa ikoko ndodzoka naye. Kana tikaenda nemotikari tinobhadhara $4 kusvika pashindi. Asiwo kana tikaendawo netsoka tinogona kufamba 4 to 5 hours tiri munzira tisati tasvika. Ndingangoti makuseni ndinokwanisa kuenda ka1 kana ndikazokwanisa manheru ndoenda futi ka1 asi pazuva ndinoda bhaketi 1.5. Zoreva kuti mangwana acho mvura inenge ndinayo inenge isingachakwanisi kuti zuva rivire ndinayo futi.
My name is Mr. Lucky Goteka. I'm the Acting Secretary General for Zimbabwe Red Cross Society. The work of Zimbabwe Red Cross Society in water and sanitation has been to try and improve water, access to water for rural communities, and access to sanitation and hygiene and education to our rural communities. There are a lot of positive things that have come out of this kind of a relationship. We are looking at developing amongst our communities the culture to be responsible for the continuity of the facilities that we together are engaging and leave for them to take over. For that reason, we expect the communities to be responsible for the repairs, including the purchase of the spare parts. We are looking at a situation where we need to inculcate in our community members that desire to contributing like even 20 cents, 50 cents a month towards a pool. It is what we do and how long it stays within the community that makes the difference.
My name is Barbara Corrado. For the moment now, it is better for me. My life is changed because the Red Cross have got given us the ball. We don't have to pay the money to the hospital because we are using safe water to drink, so the diarrhea is gone down now, so that I will have to spend my money on paying school fees, buying some soap and fertilizers for farming. The community come together and talk about the toilet. They say they have to donate $4 to $5. So far they built 2 for the group.
Ndingangoti zvangu ndisati ndava nemwana mvura ndanga ndisingabhoili nekuda kwekutiwo ruzivo igogo kunogwanga kusati gwasvika. Asi iko zvino tavawo nevanofambawo vachitidzidzisawo kuti mvura dzofanira kubhoiliwawo. Kunoko hakuna kutombogara kwaita chibhorani, saka pari kutoda kutotanga kudhiriliwa chimwe chibhorani chinyuwani. Red Cross ndingati takaitarisira kuti paichauya izovakirawo vanhu muno muvillage medu matoilets. Chingangozondifadza zvangu muupenyu hwangu ndechekuti ndinenge ndakwanisa kuachivha magoals andanga ndakatarisira. Kana ndazova ticha ndodawo kudzidzisa mwana wangu asvikewo pastandard yandakasvikawo ini.
That's all we have time for on this episode of Olsem Wanem. If you have any comments or stories you would like to share, please contact us via the address showing on your screen or visit our Facebook page. Until next time, enjoy your viewing on your #1 station, EMTV, the lead broadcaster of the 2015 Pacific Games.